Hey Green Thumbers, welcome back to Green Thumb Diaries with Alicia. I am coming to you today because I am starting some more seeds. I did do one previous video, which was my first video of 2026, but my sound wasn't working, so I figured I would come back, share with you starting different seeds, and then also I can just show you the progress of the seeds from my first video. As you can see, they have sprouted, but I'll get back to that in a second. So today it's really just a short and sweet video. I wanted to just start seeds for my herbs, and I also thought about talking about when to start certain seeds, because sometimes we can get a little overzealous and excited for the spring and we can start things too early, which sounds awesome, but then you have to take care of them for that amount of time. So it is awesome, but it also can be a headache having to pot up seeds and things like that. So today I'm going to be starting these seeds here. So it's more so like a herbal start. So I'll be starting these oregano. Let's see, lemon mint. I'm thinking about doing a green stalk with all herbs because I have so many. Wild Italian fennel. I've never even really, I think I've tasted fennel before, but I'm excited to grow it just to step my game up with some of my recipes. Chamomile, German. I'm also doing a tea garden, and I just like those pollinators. Sage. Thyme. I grew a lot of English thyme last year, and I was able to dry it out, and I've been using it in my cooking. So now I want to actually, I only had one plant last year, and it grew so much. I didn't realize until halfway through the season that it was cut and come again, because I finally cut some off and it came again, and I was like, oh my goodness, how didn't I know that? So this year I want to grow even more so that I can potentially have bigger bottles, and I would like to give some. Cilantro. As you guys can see, I get seeds from everywhere. A lot of these are Walmart, Home Depot. Some I've ordered off of Amazon. Some I've ordered from Baker Creek, like my flowers over there. I also order from Gurney's. I order from In My Garden. I have seeds from everywhere. Most of these are just different places I've been, the hardware store. Anywhere I see seeds, I'm buying them. Mint, peppermint kind. And the information on the back is actually really good for knowing when to plant things. Rosemary. More chamomile, but it's a different variety. Zlotty Land. Amaranth. Oh, this was a free seed, but I still want to grow it to see what it's like. Cinnamon basil. Never had cinnamon basil, but I want to try it. Lemon balm. So I had a lemon mint, but I also have a lemon balm. Parsley. I grew parsley last year too, and it was the same thing, and it was so good once it's dry. Even though, just like herbs are already good, but when you grow them yourself, it's like, oh wow, it really is good. Echinacea, purple coneflower. So I'm also doing like a tea garden, so a lot of these are for that. Calendula, Pacific Beauty. Marjoram. I heard marjoram tastes like oregano. I eat a lot of oregano. I've never actually had marjoram, but I'm excited to see. Dill. Wild thyme. I don't know if it's going to have I'm pretty sure it'll have a similar flavor because thyme is thyme, but this is the wild variety. The other was English. Lavender, English. Also something I'm planning to put in my teas. And then chives. Herb. It doesn't say the variety. It just says chives herb. So these are the ones I'm starting today, which is why I prepped so many seed starting little trays, because I want to have enough to get a lot of things started. And this is funny because this is 6. This is also 6. Look at how much more soil. But things that are maybe going to be heavy feeders or that are going to grow faster, I'll probably put in these. And then every single one of these is not going to have 6 plants. I'm thinking maybe some will have 3, another will have 3, just because I don't want to overdo it. I do have places in my garden that I plan to put these. I always do extras just in case they don't all germinate, or if they actually get planted out and then they don't harden off right and some die. Just the eventuality of things that happen once the season starts. So for some, I'll do a full 6 because I want to guarantee I have enough, and then for others, not so much. So how I decided that I wanted to do herbs today is I have a system. I need to plant these ASAP. Well, not ASAP, but these are my zinnias. I planted marigolds already, but these are next. This is my next batch of seeds to start. So anyway, this is how I know, a quick way I should say, because I also have 2 garden journals. This is my 2024 garden journal, and then this is this is 2024 and 25, and then this is 2026. A lot of what I'm doing is out of this one because this is what's been getting me through the past 2 years. I'm so glad that I was detailed in a lot of ways, because when I go back and read it, I'm like, I'm just amazed at how much things make sense the more you do this. I was writing them then and didn't realize that I was literally giving myself a blueprint. But anyway, this is my quick reference guide. So what I did was, back in 2025, I didn't do this my first year. I did start seeds my first year, but I didn't categorize my first year because it was my first year. So basically what this is when you get close, I don't know if that's close enough, but when you look at it, maybe I'll just bring it a little bit closer. It has dates on it. So I just have a little bit of like gardener's painter's tape, and I put it on there. And basically what I did was, based on my zone, I have when I'm supposed to first start seeds, and then when I'm supposed to direct sow, all those things. So what I did was I put the date on here of what week this should get planted. So like, for instance, this was going to get planted the week of February 2nd, 2025. So when I open this up, I would plant or make seeds with whatever is in here. And that's basically how it goes. And it goes through all the weeks up until it's time to transplant. But then also, if you notice on the end, I have this little note here that says fall, July. So that means that in July, I want to start seeds for my fall garden with whatever is in here. The reason I know what's supposed to go in here is because everything that's in my garden journal, everything that's broken down by when it's supposed to start, cool crop, warm crop, things like that, I put the date on here, and then it doesn't matter if it's the same thing or not. If it's supposed to start during this week, it's going to go in here. So same thing. And it just goes in a row. So this would be that next week, February 9th, 2025. So whatever was in here, some of them are not in here because I've been starting them and I have to put them back. So like, here's one where there are a lot of different things in here. Broccoli, Robbie, or Rob, I'm not sure. Cauliflower. I don't know if this eggplant is accurate unless it just takes a long time to germinate. I've never even actually started seeds for that. More broccoli and Brussels sprouts. So that I know this is the week that I start those specific seeds. So the reason why it matters is because you want it to be ready right when it's time to be ready. So if we can't plant it out into the garden until soil temperature is above 40 or 50, then that means we have to start it now in enough time to where by the time the soil gets to that amount or that temperature, it's ready to go. So same thing with this. This is March 9th. So we've got jalapeno, chives, peppers. So everything that And that doesn't mean that I'm going to start everything that's in here. This is just my quick guide of knowing, okay, what's today? Today is 2/22. So I will go to 2/23 and know, okay, everything that's in this one, I'm going to plant this week. So it's quicker than having to go and scan each individual vegetable in my garden journal. It's kind of a quick reference guide. If I'm short on time, at least I know I can come on here, I can prep my soil. And then once my soil is prepped, it's as simple as just sprinkling some seeds on top. And then basically what I do is, based on what's in here, if I run out of something, I'll just keep the seed packet, but I'll write empty. And then that way I'll know it's time for me to either go into one of these binders and find the different vegetable seeds. So we have pepper, squash, tomatoes, basil, etc., etc. So whatever I need, if I come in here and I don't have any more seeds for that, which I'll do every single fall because I love going through seed catalogs, as you can see in the middle of the table. So I'm going to know what I don't have because of me writing it on there. So basically, in 2024, I had wrote some things in my journal that said, I was just looking at it, and it was saying, oh, you need to start these earlier. So like a lot of the stuff in here, when I was making my little updates, you see in red, start early. Everything I was putting in here, start earlier. So based on my dates and when it was telling me to start things, I was noticing that by the time it got time to transplant, it wasn't ready, or it probably needed about 2 or 3 more weeks. So what I did was, when I searched my new last frost date, it's not my new last frost date, it's always been my last frost date, but basically I searched it by an earlier date just to kind of give me a baseline of when to start everything. So then, based on all of these vegetables, beets, bok choy, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, all of these, I have the dates or the time frames that they should be planted from based on this earlier last frost date. I did it like that just to give myself 2 to 3 weeks extra. Could it come back to bite me? I highly doubt it, because all that's going to happen is that they're going to grow a little bit bigger, and then I'll have to pot them up, which just means basically taking them from a seed starting tray this big, kind of small, to something bigger, to where I'll take it from that to maybe this size. So is that going to be more soil? Yes. Is it going to be a little time consuming? Yes. If I have, say, this whole tray that I need to pot up. But at the same time, I'd rather have to like pot it up than it not be ready at all because I started too late. The point is to try to find that perfect time frame that you need. Listen to the back of the seed packet. Just make sure you're counting correctly. A lot of times it could just be error on your part where the information made sense. But sometimes we do things on our own time, and then you look up and it's like, oh, I'm 2 to 3 weeks late. Start seeds, don't start seeds, whatever you want to do. Go to the nursery. I still enjoy getting plants from the nursery. It doesn't always have to be one way or the other, but starting seeds is fun. It's nice to see everything that you've planted come to life. So I'm going to try to figure out, okay, so certain things I know I want to have its own tray. So like my main herbs for sure are going to get 6. I know my flowery ones, they're going to get their own for sure. I don't think I want 6 rosemaries. So rosemary, what can I pair you with that I don't want another 6 of? Thyme, I know you're going to get your own. The reason why some get their own and some don't is because I want to make sure I have some in different spots. Like I was saying, I know I want to do some like in the green stalk, but then I also have raised beds that I may want some of this stuff to go in. So I want to make sure that however I'm doing it, I have enough to fit things all over. So trying to decide if I want, let me just, since I have 2 different kinds of chamomile, I'll just do 3 and 3. So these will go on its own. I know I don't want 6 amaranths, at least not this year because I'm not familiar with it. So maybe I'll do amaranth and fennel because I'll probably do 3 and 3 of those. Cinnamon basil. Do I need? I don't know if I need 6 cinnamon basils, but I think I do want 6 regular basils. Where is my regular basil? Here we are. I knew I was missing it. So I do want 6 of this sweet basil. This mint and then lemon mint. Put those in one. I'm gonna do sage and marjoram together. This parsley, definitely want to have his own. I do want cilantro to have their own. Lemon balm, wild thyme, and chives. You want 6 lavenders. Okay, and then, all right, cool. So I have some area to spare. So basically, now that I know where or how many of each I'm going to do, I am just going to get out my garden marker and some of my labels. I like to already have things labeled. It's just helpful. So I'll probably start over here. So I have lemon balm. Today is 2/22/26. Some of them have days to yep, this one doesn't have it. Okay, so I'll just have lemon balm here. And I'll do chives and thyme. So chives, 2/22/26. It'll be here, chives. And then thyme wild. 2/22/26. And I have lavender. Trying to think if I would like. I want lavender in the big. I'll just let it live. Okay. Deal. Cinnamon basil. That way, once it's time to start sowing, I'm basically done after I water it. So, oregano. Now for these, I'm only doing 1 per container, or if it's a container that's going to have 2, I'm basically doing it like, here's the front, then these 3 behind it are all the same. So the ones here and all 3 of these in this row are going to be that one. This one here, all 3 in this row are going to be that one. And then the ones that only have 1, that means that all of them are the same. Same thing over here. I have the oregano in there. This is echinacea. It's kind of fun to be starting seeds again because it just lets you know spring is around the corner. We had a brutal winter. I mean, freezing temps, snowstorms back to back, icy conditions in the morning, and this is Michigan. They may cancel school, but they are not canceling work. You may have all of the supplies to work from home, but does not matter. You will be at work. But that's just something it's been like that forever. That's living in Michigan. They're like, you're used to it. You were born in this. Figure it out. Time. But it's funny because at the end of fall, like when garden season is wrapping up, it's sad, but it's also nice because you look forward to kind of having a break. I enjoy spring, but it can be kind of just like a hustle and bustle because you want to make sure you're hardening off, you're getting everything out when it's supposed to be out. There's so much to plant, there's so much to do. But then once you have everything planted, then it's kind of just like, okay, make sure it's watered, and you kind of can just sit back for a while and watch little things like weeding or something. But for the most part, there aren't any insects tearing up your plants yet. It's just that quick little moment of spring. And then it's just all fun from there. My first gardening season, my seed starting was super successful, and I felt like I didn't even really try that hard. And then when it came to last year, my seeds, they would germinate, but for some reason I just couldn't see them to the finish line. So I'm not as like particular about the specific number of plants I have of a certain thing. Maybe because in the back of my mind, I know that I still have the nursery if need be. But I also want to make sure that I have more than one of certain things. That's the main reasoning behind it. But I know this year I have, I want to say, 5 new green stalks. And I am excited because I want to do 2 that are made of all flowers, but I just feel like that's kind of frivolous considering how much I want to preserve this year. Um, but I also know that I want to do 1 green stalk of all herbs. And I know I'm going to have more than one of the same kind of herb in there, but that's kind of the point. Like I want to be able to just rotate between the 2, especially if they're cut and come again, because that way I know I will be, it'll just maximize my harvest basically. Then I also want to have some for those little spots to where you can plan out everything, but then once you get everything planned out, it's like, oh, I still may have space, or I still do have space. You need something that you can just grab and stick somewhere, and you'll be surprised because that's where it'll do the best. You'll have this plan of, oh, my green stalks is going to be great, which my green stalks was great last year, or were great last year. But sometimes it may just be in that little spot you stuck it in because you felt like it was too much space and you needed something, and it just grows crazy right there. As long as, it's not somewhere that's going to make it do worse, it's whole companion planting thing. But for the most part, that's where the magic happens, where sometimes you don't plan out those small moments of just improvisation. And those can be the most successful. And then I know, like I said, if I don't have enough, it's always the nursery. I like going to the nursery. It's fun for me. Okay. We got parsley. It's the last one. I also try to write the description or the variety on here. So that way, if I am testing out 2 new varieties, I know specifically which one is doing the best. And the reason why I don't put a label in each of the 6 is because, one, they may not all germinate, and 2, some may die before they fully mature as seedlings or transplants. So I'm going to put one in there just to label it, but then that's it. Now, once it does germinate and it's time to plant it out in the garden, all I'll do is I'll take an extra one and I'll label all the ones that I know I'm going to plant out, since I have the base label in there. But starting out, I started doing that at one point because I was just like, oh, it'll make it easier for me in the spring. And all I did was waste a lot of labels. So these I'm just planting right off of there because they're already open. And they're already right there. So these Wild Thyme seeds are so small. Okay, make sure that matches. It does. Okay, you're done. Next is chives. Make sure the label matches. So these I just sewed right on top because they were so small. But usually I try to make like an indentation. So let's see. So this one says to sow seeds 1/4 of an inch. You probably can't see it, but this does have like the guide, and it looks like this right here from the tip to the end is 1 inch. So I'm thinking 1/4 of an inch will probably be like right there. Don't look at my nail. I'm just gonna make a little, since these are bigger, I'm probably gonna do like 4 instead of my normal 1 or 2. And just drop them in the hole. This is why I like to already have the soil prepped, because could you imagine doing these one by one, doing the soil, then doing the label, then it could just really be more time consuming. So you could do it ahead of time. That way, once you start sowing, that's all you have to do. Labels already in place, soil is already there. You're just dropping seeds way faster. Okay, amaranth. Which row is the amaranth? This one. This one, it says 1/8 of an inch. So that's basically on top. So I'm not even going to make an imprint. I'm just going to drop them on top and mix them in a little bit. I'm very low maintenance seed starter. So especially when the seeds are so small anyway. Okay, so my amaranth is planted. I'll just give it a nice little 1, 2, 1, 2. That's done. Okay, lemon balm is next. Make sure that's this one. Yep. Press into surface. Perfect. My style. So this one you just plant it right on top, or they call it surface sowing. And it's probably because they're so small. That's why I figured the ones that are super small like that, I'm just going to put on the surface. Like, because how is it going to break through 1/4 of an inch of soil when it's this small? Oh, just press me in so it has good contact with the soil. Okay. That's done. Now, one thing that I do like to do as I'm going through here is, after I open up the seed packet, I like to tape the back of them because the seeds are so small, they will come out. And that's why I had to switch to these picture like holders from just the binder with pockets, because you'd have seeds everywhere. You won't know what seed it's to or what packet it's to, what seed it is, unless it's like an obvious seed, like a nasturtium or something. But for the most part, no, you're not going to know what it is. You just have a lot of loose seeds everywhere. That's another thing. If you drop stuff a lot and you don't have that flap closed, see how that's kind of lifted? That's where this comes in handy. Oh, and then some, like this one already has one from last year, so it already has that blue one on there. All right. No, those are done. Okay. Lavender. The reason why I want to do 6 lavenders is because I had one lavender plant last year, didn't die, but I probably only got one purple sprig out of all of these you see here. The one plant that I had last year, I got one. I got one. So this year I'm definitely planting 6, just to hopefully get enough to do something. And I'm just basically oh, this baby's almost empty. I think I got another lavender. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Probably do though. Oh, there's some more down there. They just stuck. I think I do though. God, where did they go? That is hilarious. Okay. Well, if some of these don't germinate, it's because they don't have anything in them, which is fine. But I'm pretty sure I have some more. Okay. Dill. Dill is on this side. So I have to make sure I write empty on here. So when I'm going through, I'll remember to grab some more. Because later it gets in the season, I'm going to be going back through these. Okay, dill. So 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes I just put them on top and then push them down. It's just easier than making holes every time. All right. So I'm just going to continue sowing these seeds. And then I'll see you guys back when I'm all done. Wow. This echinacea says it takes 300 to 365 days to bloom. Says to transplant outdoors in our area. So you see this little United States. So it's color coordinated. So I'm in Michigan, the glove, and it's green. So then when you come over here to the color chart, it says to transplant outdoors between March and April or September and October. So you want to plant 2 to 3 seeds per starter pot indoors 6 to 8 weeks before transplanting. So if I can transplant in March, between March and April, then that means I want to be getting it started in February, which I am. I probably could have started these last, I think it was 10, I don't know what day it was, but it was at least over a week ago. But I probably should have started these with that batch just so that it gives it extra time to be ready between March and April. Let's see, today is February 22nd. So we still would have all of March to get through and then some April. So technically I'd probably be planting these out in early April just because it's late February and I'm just getting them started. but it still falls within that window. You can also plant out between September and October. So I'm going to go for a spring planting. So I'm still going to get these started. I just didn't realize it was going to take so long for them to bloom. But good to know. So now at least I'll know it's not something I'm doing wrong. So that's why the back of these packets comes in handy, because I would have planted these, and then in July and August when everything else is blooming, I'll be like, why isn't my echinacea blooming? It's something I did. I messed up. I didn't. But in this case, again, I didn't start them early enough. That's always my issue. But like I said, sometimes the issue could be putting them out. You can start them too late, but put them out too early. That's even worse, because weather isn't ready for them. One year I started my tomatoes in February. That was crazy. They had the biggest transplant shock by the time I got them outside. I'm so glad I read that. 300. That's like a year. That is a year. 365 days. So won't be seeing you till 2027. Thank you for your service. Still gonna plant you though. I'll still be excited to see you in next year. So I have a lot of plans. I ordered like 3 blueberry bushes, or pots, I should say. Starts basically. So I know I probably won't get a lot this year, but I'm excited for that. I'm just excited to get some fruit, since our backyard is kind of small and I'm fitting in garden spaces, because I still want the kids to have room to play and still inflate their bouncy houses, and, let them have the cousins over. So I still need a backyard. Otherwise, my whole backyard will be a garden. But yeah, I was like, I want some type of fruit. And that's hard to do when you still want a functional backyard. We do like to entertain. So we'll see how the fruit goes. But yeah, that's why I decided to get blueberry bushes, because I couldn't do like an apple tree or something like that. So I got raspberry and blueberry plants. I already have a strawberry green stalk with strawberries in it. So that did good last year. Last year was the first year. I'm more excited to see what it does this year, because they always say, they do better. All fruits, they do better like the second and third year than they do the first year. So I guess they have to establish. Oh, I also bought like some type of blue grapes. I don't know if it's Concord. I hope it's Concord. That's the kind I want, but I don't know if that was a part of the sale I caught. But now I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to trellis it. I have to figure that out. Let me look at this calendar. Okay, this is only 60 days to bloom. And these we plan out in April. So that's perfect. Perfect. 4 to 5 weeks before transplanting, get them started. Okay, so we're right on point with the calendula, Pacific Beauty. So this should be successful. Some of this stuff, I'm wondering, is 6 too many? But I just have a feeling like, is 6 enough? Like, we'll see. And then if not, so this is something I'm going to put in my garden journal. On this day, made seeds for, I'm going to label all of these that I have seeds for and how many. And then this will be my baseline for next year. So if I say, okay, I did 6 starts of calendula and I didn't feel like I had enough, then that'll let me know, okay, next year I need to do 12, you know. So just depends. Or next year, Matt, what if I don't like them? Oh, shoot. Oopsie. I got to start focusing, man. Well, may the best man win. I planted the calendula in with the echinacea. So depending on how they grow, I can just separate them once they germinate. Hopefully they just won't be too close together. But I won't know which is which for a while. Unless they just look completely different when germinating. But either way, it'll get figured out. Yes, it will. But yeah, so my seed starting mix is, well, this seed starting mix that I'm working with today is just potting soil mixed with worm castings. And that's it. So I got the potting soil from like Great Ace Value, a hardware store. And then the worm castings I already had, but those are from Home Depot. And yeah. So last year I used actual seed start, not last year, the year before my first year. I used seed starting mixed with worm castings and Dr. Earth's vegetable granular fertilizer. And like I said, my starts that year did great. When I used that same formula last year, did not work. So I figured, okay, this year I'm gonna just try something new. And I also watch a lot of YouTube, like a lot of most of the information I get. I do have books and stuff too, but most of the like hands-on type stuff or information I get is off of YouTube because I just love watching other real people in their gardens figuring it out. It really feels like a community. And that's what I like. And that's what makes me want to have my own journey, which is why I called this Alicia's Green Thumb Diaries, because I've never been a person with a green thumb. My mom always had a green thumb, my brother, even my dad, but I was never really interested until I became an adult and got stressed and needed a hobby, if we're keeping it real. But I love it though. I love it. I have books. Like I really enjoy learning how to grow vegetables. One of my biggest revelations last year was that I'm a flower person. I was never a flower person. Don't get me wrong, like I've always appreciated like the beauty of a flower, like the next person, but I never was one of those people to where, oh, it's flower day, yay, let's go figure out what. No, I was never one of those people. I always would go buy like flower pots though. Like I do enjoy the house looking cute. But last year I realized I enjoy not only the beauty of flowers, but I enjoy growing them. Last year when I had what I call zinnia lane, which was like on the same lane as my peppers in my garden, I I would go and I would literally feel my stress melt away. Just looking at them, cutting them, taking them to work, putting them in a vase. It just it was different. And so this year I'm growing even more flowers. So I always will buy certain flowers from the nursery, which I still plan to do that, um, because I like to buy the pots that are already made up, but then I also like to buy flats and create my own. Now I'm going to be doing all three. I'm still going to get the ready-made pots that already have the beautiful flowers growing out of them. for the front. And then in the back, I'll make up my own. I have pots with just flowers that I kind of arrange, if you will. And then I'm also going to have like cut flower garden row where it'll have zinnias. Early spring, it'll be stocks. I can't think of any more, but mostly stocks anyway. And then spring, summer, it'll be snapdragons, summer marigolds. So I like all of the little flowers. But I'm not that like experimental yet. I have straw flower. So I have like a pollinator mix that I just got from Home Depot where it's a mix of different things that I'm gonna just sow directly into the garden. But the only ones that I'm actually doing as starts are snapdragons, bells of Ireland. Let's see, what do I have over here? Oh, I showed you guys all the zinnias. I have about 6 or 7 different types of zinnias. I have multiple marigolds. But marigolds I have more so for pest assistance than anything else. Oh, I'm also doing nasturtium. I do nasturtium every year, but I direct sow nasturtium and it works just great for me. I did start it from seed 1 year, and I don't know, people said it was hard to germinate, but they did just fine for me. I filed it with a nail file. I don't know where one of the back of the seeds had that on there to do that, and I did it and it worked. And it worked all the way out until the garden, till it was time to plant. And they did great that year. And then after that, I decided to just direct sow them because starting seeds is a lot of work. You know, making sure they're getting enough water, making sure they're getting enough light. The warm ones may need a heat pad, the cool ones don't. You know, some germinate faster than others, some catch up to others, some grow faster than you thought. You need to up pot. You know, so starting seeds can be a lot. But when you want certain varieties or you just want to grow certain things, it's cheaper. I mean, I don't even know if it's cheaper because the seed packet is cheaper, but by the time you buy the soil, the amendments and things like that, I can't say 100% if it's super cheaper. But I know if I need a whole bunch of them, it winds up being cheaper, you know, but a lot of these I don't know. But I enjoy it, so I think that up front it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, because I mean, one bag of Pro Mix is only what, $20, maybe 30, and then a bag of worm cost castings is 20, and then the seeds themselves are about $2 to $3. So yeah, it's cheaper. It's cheaper because if you go and try to get like herbs from the nursery, it could be $5.99 for one plant. That's crazy. So yeah, it's for sure cheaper. Rosemary. This year I tried to be way more intentional with what I'm growing because at first it was just like, oh, and it still is something that I find just fun. But last year was my first year actually preserving, and it feels good like I'm out now. But it would feel good whenever I would get ready to make spaghetti and I have a pasta sauce already and it tastes so good. It tastes better than store-bought. And I'm not Italian or someone who grew up doing that, but it's so good. And you just feel so good about yourself. Like, I actually grew this and made this. It's a way different accomplishment. And then, especially when like I would take it to work, and then I would have people tell me like, "Oh my God, it's so good. Can you make me one specifically?" And then I had the bright idea like, "Oh, I should gift these," but of course, there's never enough to gift, so I probably gifted about 2 or 3 people salsa. I think I gifted my mom pasta sauce, but I didn't get as many as I would have liked. But also, that was just the fluke of last year. Last year, it just seemed like the cold lasted forever. In my 2024 garden journal, I've had in there that I planted my tomatoes, my early girl tomatoes, out on May 3rd, which is super early because technically that's like before frost day. I think our frost date is like May 16th, but I think it was just so warm that it worked because I got a lot of tomatoes that year and wasn't even preserving that year. And then last year, I wasn't able to start planting all my tomatoes, I want to say until like May 28th, almost a month later. And it really just seemed like it, although I did get tomatoes, but I just feel like I lost out on so many because a lot of my tomatoes are indeterminate. So like you harvest and they keep coming. But if you lose a month of growth, then you don't have as long to do that, you know. So this year, I'm hoping that the weather is what it's supposed to be. But if it's not, I'm going to be more proactive. I'm not going to just wait and wait and wait. I'm going to go and get like frost. I already have frost cloths. I'm going to actually, I have the infrastructure in my garden already to cover things up. You know, the little hoop things. I already have it all. And most of them I keep in there the whole time anyway. This year, I'm going to have to just be way more intentional with making sure that I plant it at the right time so that I can get more bang for my buck. Okay, almost at the finish line. Let's see, that was lemon mint. Now we got fennel. I hope these fennel work. You can sometimes when you order them and they just have no type of zhuzh, it makes me nervous. Like, are these gonna work or are these like grocery store fennel that are not gonna do anything? We'll see. Mm. All right, then my 2 chamomiles. German is on this side. Oh, these fennel seeds. I mean, these chamomile seeds are super small. I'm gonna have 16, 16 like sprouts in each cell because they're so small. Can't help but dump a handful in there. All right, and then here's the other chamomile. All right, that is it. Now we just have to water them all in. So I have a soft sprayer, but I'll have carpal tunnel full blown by the time I use that because it's so much hand work. So I'm going to go get my other sprayer. I'll file these back away later. Okay. I'm just gonna give these a nice little soak. So probably gonna just pour some of this water in the bottom because I know it's not fully saturated how it should be. So let that travel. Oh shoot. I wasn't smart. Didn't realize that these have holes in them. So okay. A little seed starting area. This is the one we just put in here. I need to put water in these. Set these down here. So basically what will happen is, oh, I still do have two empty down here. So I'm going to leave these on the table. So that I know that those two still have time or room. So as you can see, it looks somewhat full, but this one, this sweet potatoes and stuff down here, that can get turned to the side, and another tray could go next to it. And then once these get big enough, because right now they're still in their infancy stage, but once they get a little bigger, Yeah, so you can see like on some of them, some of the true leaves are coming in. So I need to add some water though. I don't overwater, so I really only water these maybe like once every like 4 to 5 days. I know that sounds crazy, but it takes a while for all of the water to evaporate when you bottom water. You can tell because the tops will still be like dark, but right now it all looks kind of like brown. And the reason why is because it's starting to dry out. So like, for example, you see how this one looks really dark because we just watered it versus these up here? That's why. Even on these, you can see how like some are darker than others. That means like there's still water in these few. But then in the other areas, it's dry. I can't say how water distributes the way it does, but that's just what it is. So because most of these are dry, a lot of these are leggy, but it's because of the whole light situation. So as you can see, at one point, this little bottom case wasn't there. And the only reason I put those up under these is because I was trying to get them lifted higher to the light. I know that these lights are not enough, which is why I have like supplemental light. So I have this one, and then I have I have one other one that's new that I haven't taken out the box, but technically I need to because the little strip of light that's on here is not really sufficient light. It gets the job done though, but you know, I just feel like without it, because it's so far from where the plants actually are, that it just makes them leggy. And this is a good example of that. These are really leggy. But yeah, so I'm going to get them watered. I just did the sweet potatoes today and some ginger. I've never tried to do my own slips. I always order them. So we'll see if it actually works. Hopefully it does though. But yeah, so that's what we've got. I don't know if anybody's interested in my garden over here, but let me know if you are. I'll do a video on them. And it's really awesome, but it is a lot of work when you have to clean them out. Here's my cherry tomatoes. They're finally starting to flower. Green beans. So, oh, it's a big one. I'm about to eat this. Delish. One thing I noticed, I'll say this about this and then I'll make another video if you guys want. In order to get like a harvest good enough to like cook dinner, you have to have multiples of the same type of plant. When I was first laying this out, I was like, oh, I'll do one of these and one of these and one of these. And in reality, you should probably do 40s, 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 because, you know, like I just ate that one off of here. This is my only pea that's on here. These are green beans. And so, you know, I have to just wait until like I have another one that's growing right here. But it's kind of small. Oh, you can't see it looking at me. One right here. But it may be different with my red cherry tomatoes. I have one red cherry tomato here, one red cherry tomato here. My bok choy, I have one of those. You know, this is a collard. I think I have one other collard, maybe that one down there. I have, this is a dino kale. This is a curly kale, but it's not hard to take care of. It's just that in order for the harvest to make sense, you have to have, in my opinion, more than like 2 or 3 of the same plant in order for it to make sense. Otherwise, you're going to have like one serving, you know, every couple of weeks or something like that. So, but it's really fun. Anyway, so this is Alicia with Green Thumb Diaries. This was a seed starting day for me. I did go a little bit over my thought process or my seed starting system. If you guys feel like you want me to go more in depth, you know, where I can show you specifically what I wrote, why things get harvested as many days before as they do, or just anything you want to see seed starting wise, or even if it's just, you know, coming on here every week and just showing you the progress, showing you what I've done, I can do that. If you guys have any tips or tricks, because like I said, I love watching other people's YouTube videos, and it really gives me a lot of inspiration and just ideas on things that could work. For example, when my seed starting mix stopped working for me, that's where I got the potting mix and earthworm castings mix. So we'll see. So far, things are germinating great. Well, I don't know if everything in this tray is germinating great. Looks like the ones on the end did okay. These in the middle, because every row is something different. And it could just be that maybe the germination rate is a little bit different. So for example, I planted these on 213. So it'll be 10 days tomorrow on 223. So it could just be that these Brussels sprouts, maybe they take 10 to 14 days to germinate, you know? And if that's the case, what I really should have been doing is just keeping this top little portion watered to make sure that they have everything they need to be successful. But hey, we're just doing the best we can. I'm going to get these all watered from the bottom, and then that's all for me today. So thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time. If you liked the video, like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you later.